Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The topic that I've chosen for the purposes of this assignment is Irish American immigration from the Revolutionary War era to the end of the 1800s, early 1900s. Now, the primary sources that I've chosen for this assignment are actually from the 1860s and on. The reason I wanted to choose these two primary sources was because I wanted to show that Irish American immigrants faced perpetual racism not just when they came to the United States, but also when they were living here for an extended period of time. A lot of the racism and also anti Irish sentiments came from nativists and from the Know Nothing Party. Now, Irish were depicted as lazy, as criminals, as people who would be taking jobs. So, therefore, this manifests themselves in popular media. One of the sources I chose was an actual picture in a political cartoon published in Harper's Weekly in 1871 showing the Irish as such. Now, the literacy component that my students will be learning from this and exercising is critical thinking and comprehension. So I want students to be able to take a look and see how the Irish Americans were depicted in such a negative light and be able to draw comparisons to other groups in America today. And I think that's very relevant in light of the recent situations for the police shootings. So I want students to be able to make relevant connections to events that are going on today. The second item that I chose was actually a song slash a poem written by Kathleen O'Neill. So for this, it's going to take students a few minutes to read it and comprehend it, but I also want students to take a look at the verbiage that is being used, the specific words that are being used to speak about the Irish Americans. And furthermore, I want them to make connections into what is going on in the world today. So therefore, to establish that relevancy component. But again, first, I want students to understand these are some of the sentiments that were expressed in newspapers at that time. And perhaps students can see some of those sentiments even today in published newspapers, articles, in popular magazines, and even some internet websites. So definitely want students to engage in critical thinking and also be able to make connections to today. Now, I've also incorporated a third primary source, which is going to be Kirby Miller's Irish American Immigrants in the Land of Canaan, Letters and Memoirs from Colonial to Revolutionary America. Now, granted, this is from an earlier period, but I also want students to be able to understand and comprehend through some of these letters perhaps some of the thoughts that the Irish American immigrants to the United States had, how they faced with such discrimination, and how they reacted to such discrimination. How did they describe it to potential Irish family members who were going to be coming over to the United States later on? So these are the three primary sources that I've chosen, and I think they're going to help students out a lot in terms of making connections between Irish American immigration and the discrimination they faced also to real life world events today. And I think that's one of the best ways that students can learn is by using their critical thinking skills and analysis. Thank you.